Let's get started. If the clerk would note that we have started without a quorum. And if we continue without a quorum, it's a different kind of a meeting, even though it's posted. We can have more informality. Once the fourth trustee arrives, speakers other than those that are official presenters that want to talk to and present questions or whatever will have to fill out a card and provide it to the clerk so we have it as a matter of record. It's a recording thing. Prior to having a fourth trustee here or having a quorum, we don't have that requirement. Okay. So it's much more informal.
This one here?
Okay. So Dr. Icaro, do you want to
yes.
get things underway?
Yes. What is the change bottle? This one here? What is the change? Okay. Do it for you. Good afternoon, and thank you, everybody, for taking some time out from your other obligations to come to this workshop. And the reason that I had called this workshop was to be able to give the board and the community and the stakeholders an insight of how vital the work that has been done for the district by the consultants is towards meeting the educational goal of the colleges, and to be able to craft out some time, because usually when we come to the board meeting, there are so many items on the agenda to the extent that we are not able to sit down the way we are right now as a Peralta community to be able to examine some of the very fundamental issues that are prevalent in our facilities and how all of that ties to educational master plan. So tonight, we're going to be discussing the roadmap to the future. And with us here tonight, we have Mars, who is going to be talking about the educational master plan and how it relates to the facility master planning. And we have a WLC here that will be talking about the facility master planning process itself. So having said that, I wanted to talk briefly as part of my introduction about how we got here. This is the first time in the history of Peralta where there has been a truly educational master plan that is driving facility after the as-built campuses was done in the 1960s and 1970s. And what the plan we're having right now that we're going to be talking about tonight is essentially to modernize, build new buildings, transform the roadways so that they are ADA accessible, and have a sustainable campus that will be the envy of other colleges and have students to be able to meet our FTAs for the foreseeable future. However, we might note that the stakeholders went to the polls in 2006, and they voted for $390 million for the district to be able to use this money to purchase equipment and furniture so that the antiquated equipment that we had all over the place, some of which have lasted for over 20 years, can be replaced. And the district in the last 2 years has focused on doing short-term replacement projects that will be able to alleviate the issues that has to do with health and safety. That process is still underway, and we're hoping that in the next 1 year, most of that should have been undertaken so that we can be able to focus on the long-term facility construction projects that will support education. So about 30% of the bond funding has already been spent. It has been spent to buy computers, library books. They has been spent to modernize and repair all the equipment that were needed by various departments, colleges. Most of that has been done. Some part of that money has been expended for technology, both acquisition, paying consultant to be able to deploy various technologies for the classrooms, and for registration, and for financial and administrative systems. Now, we want to spend the first 5 years, beginning from 2008, to be able to give priority to those projects that has been identified by the facility master plan. In other words, the bond funding will only be sufficient to be able to do the first phase of the second phase of implementation. The first phase was modernization and repairs and taking care of the health and safety issues. The second phase that we're going to be getting into right now is to do the 5-year plan that is of high priorities to the colleges. Then the remaining 10 years will be utilized to be able to look for additional resources that will be needed to be able to undertake construction. Some of these could be joint private partnership that is necessary to be sought after during this period of time. It may also require that we go out for another new bond to be able to utilize this. So we're looking at the facility master plan integration. Then also tonight, we're also going to be talking about total cost of ownership. What does it cost to be able to maintain all these new buildings? There will be issues of getting new custodians to clean the buildings. You need more facility engineers to be able to make that happen. Then we're also going to talk about the total building life cycle, so that if you have a new facility today, you need to plan that in about 35 years from now, you need to do something to it in order for that building to be able to meet educational facilities that is needed. Then we will talk briefly on the strategic planning for sustainability and where we are in terms of landscape, energy savings, and how some funding for, say, solar panels that will help save energy could be retained in the classrooms if we utilize and get solar panels to be able to utilize for sustainability. Then also we're going to look at a capacity load ratio on how that impacts fusion. That is the number of times we have students in the classes through a matrix program. So those are some of the essential issues that we have. And we're going to call on the Vice President for Educational Services to give us a quick overview of Educational Master Plan. And thereupon, we're going to call on Dan from MAS to be able to begin the process.
Excuse me, Doctor.
Yes.
Noted that we now have a quorum, so we will go into the formal setting of a formal meeting. I have a question on your fusion.
Yes.
And I probably should know this, but don't recall. Does that incorporate the state formula?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It incorporates the state formula, and what we have also done as part of this process was to have MAS go through every building, every classroom that is in Peralta and get the true dimension of the area and the utilization of the area such that we can recodify the data that we have on fusion to make them more palatable for the district's opportunity to seek future funding. So, Dr. Ale Wise, you want to say something about Educational Master Plan?
I will talk briefly about the process. The educational planning process began shortly after the bond was passed, which was in 2007. And it began at the departmental level, which was unit planning and program review. So all of the issues that emerges today came out of those original plans. Those plans